Good morning, and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 80, part 2. Mitzvah Day keeps us on its way. The obligation to help remove a burden, once again dedicated for a full shleima to my mother, Fega Baskolda. She should continue to have only the best of health, and her arms should be back to normal. Okay, laws of this mitzvah. The laws of the mitzvah include several details pertaining to ownership of the animal and its burden. For example, the law that applies if the animal belongs to an idolater and the burden belongs to a Jew, or vice versa. And the law of one who encounters his Jewish friend and his Jewish enemy, who each require assistance at the same time. This is beautiful. In the latter case, the law is that it is a mitzvah to give precedence to the enemy and assist him so as to subdue one's evil inclination. And this applies even if the friend requires assistance to unload his animal and the enemy requires assistance to load his animal. One should note, however, that this enemy mentioned here is not the same as the enemy that we mentioned above, where one hates the person on account of his having committed a sin. In that situation, it is appropriate to harbor animosity toward the sinner, and one should not seek to curtail that animosity by awarding the sinner precedence. Rather, here we speak of a person with whom one's heart is not complete, i.e., toward one whom one bears a grudge for personal reasons. Interesting. The Chinuch cites a number of limitations to the extent of one's obligation under this mitzvah. The laws of the mitzvah also include how to define the words of the verse, if you see. That is, from when, i.e., within what distance does the obligation begin? The sages in Bava Metzia determine this amount to be 1 in 7 1/2 parts of a meal, which is the distance known as a ris. Let's see, says the commentary. I.e., 2/15 of a meal. A meal is equivalent to 2,000 amos, which is about 4,000 feet, which according to many authorities is a distance equal to approximately 3,750 feet. A ris is thus 266 2/3 amos, which is somewhat less than 1/10 of a mile, approximately 500 feet, or 152 meters. Interesting. That's when you have to get involved in that mitzvah. If one is within that distance of the animal in distress, he must come and help. However, if he is further than that distance, he is not obligated to veer from his path so as to reach it. Nevertheless, one who does beyond what is required by law and goes to even greater lengths to assist one who is in need, merits that blessing shall come upon him. Also included is the law of an elderly or a dignified individual, for whom it is not in accordance with his dignity to assist with unloading or loading an animal. The rule is that his obligation in this mitzvah is determined entirely by what he would do with his own property. The Chinuch concludes the laws of the mitzvah. Also included is the law that unloading must be performed free of charge, but loading may be done for compensation. And the law that one must walk along with the person that he assisted with loading for the distance of a parsa, in case the animal will falter a second time. A falter is about 2.8 miles. Wow. Interesting. There's more on that. And that he is entitled to take compensation for accompanying him. All these laws are set forth in the second chapter of Bava Metzia. This mitzvah applies in every location and in all times, and is incumbent upon both men and women. One who transgresses this mitzvah has violated a mitzvah obligation and has displayed in himself the trait of cruelty, which is a repugnant trait. With regard to such a person, the sages have stated, whoever is not compassionate towards God's creatures is not shown compassion by heaven, for his physical being is not worthy of receiving compassion. Amazing. I'm so tired from the Seder, so excuse my stuttering, my mumbling. Folks, hopefully enough coffee will get me through this. Enjoy the rest of your Chol Hamoed Pesach, and we'll see you tomorrow.